to say.
Just introduce
Um,
yourself again, please. Sorry.
that's okay. My name's Kyla. I live in Hillmont, Saskatchewan. I've done hair for 12 years now. I went to MC College when it was still called Marca in Saskatoon in 2007, and I finished there in July of 2008. And yeah, still doing hair.
Alrighty. Well, I'm Jenna. You know who I am. You do mom's hair. Are you ready to start the questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty. So, in your opinion, what makes a great stylist?
Oh, that's a hard question. There's a lot of different things. You basically kind of have to have, takes a lot of drive. You really have to be willing to build yourself as an artist, and build yourself in terms of your communication skills with people. You got to have the drive to always want to educate yourself and never really want to settle. It's really easy to get stuck into a rut, but you really have to just continue to grow in your craft and with yourself as a person in order to be successful. Yeah, basically you just can't settle. You just can't settle for working at a place you're not happy. You can't settle for just going to work and doing the same thing every day. It's basically, you just really got to have a lot of drive to grow yourself. Because it can take you a ton of different places to just, yeah, I would say that, like, you really got to have it. It has to be something that's inside you, because it takes a lot of work to be successful. You can't just stand behind a chair and think that's all there is to the job. There's a lot of other things. So it's just willing to learn all the different things that go into making a great stylist, because there's a ton of different things.
Okay. That's cool. Good to know that. Do you think it is better to have a little bit of knowledge of everything or to specialize in certain things?
I think everybody kind of has I think most stylists have something that they feel they are better at than others. I think it's really important to have a really good foundation of everything. Like, that's what you go to hair school for. But basically then once you come out, you will find things that come easier and more natural to you. So it's a lot easier to try to focus on those things. But I think, that being said too, it's just really important to push yourself to do the things that you're not as comfortable with. Because there's going to be a day where you kind of dabble in everything, and then you may get to a point down the road where you only want to color or you only want to cut, and that's okay too. But you basically still have to have a really good foundation of all of the little bits and pieces, because they do kind of all intertwine, because it's an art. So it's all different skills put together. But yeah, that's a hard question, because I mean, even after 12 years, I find myself leaning towards certain things more than others, just out of things that I'm comfortable with. But I think at the end of the day, everybody's different, because there are a ton of successful hairdressers who only color, and there's tons that only do men's cuts, and there's tons that only do color correction. So it's just a matter of, what do you want to be as a stylist? Do you want to be someone that specializes just in a couple things, or do you want to do it all? So I think that's kind of hard to answer, because I think each person makes that decision for themselves.
Okay. What do you love about your job?
Oh, everything. Um, After 12 years, I've had a large portion of my clientele with me through this whole thing. So they're a big reason why I go every day. I love my people. I love my people. I love the creative part of it. I love making people that are having a bad day, like, completely turn around how they look at their day. Um, I like making people feel really good about themselves. I like being that ear that they can talk to when they just need it. I love so many different things. I really like the people I work with. I like a lot of it, or I wouldn't still be doing it.
I suppose, yeah. Why did you want to become a hairdresser?
um, I guess kind of like when I was in high school, I took I did take cosmetology for 3 years prior, which I think was a big help. So I kind of had dabbled in it. And this sounds really bad. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I didn't suck at it. Like in high school, like I really didn't. And anytime my friends wanted to go out, it was always like, can you do my hair? And like, yada, yada, yada. But I went to college. It took some post-secondary, like university transfer courses for a year first. And I didn't suck at that either, but I just couldn't, like I had the grades, I could have done something else probably, but I just couldn't, there was just nothing else I could see myself doing. And then I was like, you know what? I think I just need to go try this. And when I went, I was like, yeah, this is exactly where I need to be.
Cool. What are your ride or dies?
In what, like what?
So like products or I can't think of the word. In business, I guess.
Like what, like, okay, what do you mean?
Um,
Like what's something?
like what's something that you always do without fail? Like that's like
I have,
something that you've done for like the 12 years. You said 12, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so like what's something that you've consistently done for like 12 years and it's always worked for you in the hair industry?
like doing hair or doing it like the business side.
Both, I guess.
Okay. Business wise, I come from a business orientated family. So I definitely always turn for a second opinion before I do anything rash. Like I definitely try to talk things through with like my parents or the girls I work with. I don't ever want to just jump to conclusions or make a decision selfishly just because I think I should. So I definitely think that like reaching out to people and getting a second opinion on some business stuff doesn't ever hurt. As far as like clients, things I've always done, I guess I just always want everyone to feel welcome. And I just always want to be authentically me. And if people really like their hair, but they just don't really care for me, I'm okay with that. It took me a long time in my life to get to a point where I'm just like you can't please them all. Not everybody's going to like me. So I think just that's worked really well for me is that I feel like my clients feel like I'm really authentic, like that they can come to me and I'm the same person every day. I don't judge people. Yeah, I guess that would be it. Like just staying true to myself. And yeah, does that kind of answer? I don't know.
It
I'm not
does
really sure what
actually.
answer you're.
It was a horribly worded question. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Um,
that's okay. No.
so what are some things you wish you knew about the hair industry before you joined it?
Oh, there's a lot of things I didn't know. There's a lot of things I didn't know. Um, I think looking back, I wish I would have known how to a little bit kind of like maybe take criticism a little better. Like when people weren't happy with something, I wish I kind of been maybe coached better on how to deal with those situations.
Okay.
When you kind of get backed into not really sure what to do. I probably could have used some more guidance at the beginning. I think I've got a better grasp on it now because I'm a lot more receptive to criticism or to things like that. Because yeah, it's hard, and I wish someone would have told me like when I started out that like you have to want it. You're like I said, you're not just going to stand behind the chair and be successful. You have to want it, and it takes a lot of work. And yeah, I just kind of wish. I mean, I definitely don't have any regrets, or I wouldn't still be doing it. But yeah, I think both those things that I wish I would have kind of known how to take criticism a little bit better, maybe at the beginning, because at first you're kind of just like, I can do this, everything's gonna be fab, and it doesn't always work out that way.
Okay. That's a good one, actually. Knowing how to take criticism. That's good. Um, how would you describe your experience from a college student to a business owner? So, like, what was it like going from a college student to owning a business?
Oh, there was a long road in between there. I came out of hair school out of Saskatoon and I moved back home and I worked at a local salon actually that I went to throughout high school and had been going to for a lot of years. And I just, I really valued the person that I worked for at that time and still do to this day. Nothing bad on her part. But in a way, I just kind of felt like something inside of me like still needed to grow, and staying there, it was kind of like you were always just going to be an employee. Like I just kind of got to a point, I was there for 4 years, where I just kind of felt like, okay, I think I've done my time here. So when the opportunity arose to own a business, I just felt like if I didn't want to live with the what if, right? So I kind of just like jumped in, like balls to the walls, like, here we go. I'm going to give this a shot. Cause if I don't, that's okay. But I didn't ever want that opportunity to pass up and then be another 4 years down the road and being like, man, I really wish that cause it's not that I felt stuck at my job. I just felt like the growth thing wasn't going to be there. Like, I didn't think that it was going to last forever. So, and like I said, I come from a family where we've owned multiple businesses in our community. So I had a really good backbone, with my parents, like 100% in my corner. So I didn't really have the fear, right? Like I kind of felt like I got to try. So, and then owning your own business, that's a whole other realm of growth, that takes, a couple of hard lessons. But yeah, it's just, so yeah, to come from college, like, I don't think that you can just get out of college and own a business, or at least, financially and like guts wise, I just didn't have it. But yeah, it's a whole process of like where you want to go. So.
Okay. All right. Um, Having the skill and the knowledge that you have now, is there anything you would have done differently in the past?
Like what?
Um, I don't know, like with customers or just going through the process of uh, working, being an employee for 4 years and then owning your own business. Is there anything you would have done differently? Or would you
Um, no, because I feel like I handled it like like in the best possible way. Um, there is this whole stigma when you leave a place of employment as a hairdresser that it can go really badly. Like a lot of girls will find, like, if you're working somewhere and you find somewhere else and you tell your employer, they basically, like, sometimes they just say like, you're done. Like there's no 2 weeks. It's like a door closing. I didn't really lucky that when I left the place that I left on amazing terms. We still talk to this day. So I guess, no, I don't really feel like I could have done anything differently, because I feel like I handled it as maturely and as properly as I could have to keep the relationship with my previous boss still healthy. I didn't want, like, we're both in the same town. It's not like I was moving away. I was moving like to the other side of town. Like I was not going anywhere and neither was she. So I feel like I handled it as best as I could,
That's good.
on a business. As far as like dealing with clients differently, I have found myself in a couple situations over the years where, a client wants something that I feel that I know in my heart is like not achievable for them. And, I've almost like compromised what I feel is right to do with their hair or whatever, like maybe doing a color a way you shouldn't do it because they really want it like that. Um, Early on in my career, and now I'm just like, I'm almost known as like the mean hairdresser, because if I don't think I can do it, or I don't think your hair can take it, or I don't think I should do it, I just don't do it now. Like I'm done with
You
that.
don't.
I'm done. Yeah, like I basically, yeah, because I did have that happen a couple of times where like someone wants something and you're like, okay, I do it, and then it doesn't look good. Their hair is compromised because they like backed me into a corner where, even though I knew better, I still did it to try to please them. And then in the end, they still weren't happy. So now it's like, if I feel like I'm in this situation where that could happen. I just, you know what, like, I just don't think this isn't, no one's going to be happy at the end of this. So I just don't, I don't get pushed around anymore. Like, I just feel like I have the knowledge and the education and the experience to know what's best and what's right to do. And I just don't do those things anymore. So in a way, sometimes it doesn't necessarily come off like, sometimes it comes off a little like, ooh, like, what do you mean she's not gonna bleach the shit out of my hair to get me whatever? Like, because it's
Yeah.
not gonna be the color you want, not gonna feel the way you want, so let's just not do it.
Yeah. Well, you're honest, so I know mom really likes that about you because you're honest, so that's good. This one is kind of similar. What are the biggest challenges you faced in your career?
Oh, that's pretty broad. Um, lot, um, lots, lots. I don't even know where to start.
What's the
Um,
first one that comes to mind?
Probably some of those where I've let people, like those situations where I've done things that I probably shouldn't have done, like hair wise, like colors or whatever. That would be a big one. Another challenge right now, like for me, is the balance between home life and the job that I love is really hard. When you first start out, you don't care that you work every Saturday to fit people in, and you don't care if you're at work till 10 o'clock at night, or if you work 12 hours, you just did it because you just want people, you want to make people happy and you love where you are. And now I'm 12 years in and I have 5-year-old twins and we run a farm and my husband works away. And now it's just this struggle of like, I can only be there so many hours. I have a much more important commitment, and that's my family. And right now I would say that's my biggest challenge when people are like, oh,
Okay.
but I really need an appointment. I can't, like, my kids got hockey and I got one that's got a dance and I got like, and I'm steering the ship alone Monday to Friday. So I would say right now for me, just at the stage in my life, that's the biggest challenge is I want to be there for these people, and like having to turn them away or tell them that I can't do it. Before it was just like, oh, hell yeah, I'll whip in on a Saturday. We'll throw in some highlights. It's all good. And now it's like, I can't, like, I just can't. So right now I feel torn because I know that like my family is obviously what's most important, but still like my clients, they feel like a family to me after this long, and you just feel like you're letting them down when you've bent over backwards and done hair for, whipped in and done a blow dry for a funeral, or you've stayed late because their kid was sick and they had to wait till their husband got home. So you just say, oh, screw it, just come whenever you can get here. And now it's just like, I am here these hours. I am only here these days. And I'm struggling a little bit inside with that conflict of like the guilt for not, after being there for them for like every little thing for so long, and now all of a sudden it's just like I just can't. And I think they're kind of struggling with that too. I'm really fortunate my clients are like amazing and they completely understand. So when they ask and I have to say no, it's still kind of like makes my heart ache a little bit because I've that's new to me, like within the last 5 years. That's new.
I never actually thought about that. Um, cool. Well, kind of sucks, but cool. What advice do you have for any aspiring hairdressers?
Are you talking about yourself? No.
Absolutely not.
Just just do it. You have to, and you have to want it. If you have any hesitation, you're not going to make it, because it is freaking hard those first couple years. And my biggest thing would be like, do not let the first couple years like spoil it for you, because the first couple years I found really tough because you don't have a lot of clientele. So you try your best, and like you guys are so fortunate nowadays that there's like so much education online. You guys can be bettering yourself. But I felt like I had a lot of time where it was like twiddle your thumbs and fold towels, because you're like, okay, come on, like, it's a lot of work at the beginning to make sure that those people that come in to see you come back, because it takes a long time to get to the point where you're people are leaving and pre-booking. That doesn't just come. People don't just like do that. That's not real. I don't care what anybody says. It doesn't happen like that. You work long hours, you work nights, you work Saturdays, like to fit people in, and it can be discouraging when it can just be hard. So if you can get through those first couple years, it's worth it. But you have to want it. You just can't let the days where you're not super busy when you first start out be an indication of what your career is going to be. It's not. That's just how it is. It takes time. The other thing that I think is the most important is you got to find a salon to work at that fits you. There's all different salons cater to all different people and have all different types of staffing. It's really important though that you find one that feels like home, because if you are working in a salon that doesn't fit you as a person, you're going to feel uncomfortable. Your clients are going to sense that. You have to find a place that fits you, and it may not happen on the first try. So I do put a huge, huge value on aspiring stylists, like doing in salon time, because that gives you a good feel of like, what's your culture? Like what kind of vibe do you want to be? Or what is your vibe? Where do you fit in? Because it's a lot easier to grow yourself and grow a clientele when you're comfortable with your surroundings. So, and that's why there's a million different salons that have all different whatever, but like what is their brand? Like what draws you to that place? So I think finding a place that you fit and like powering through the tough, crappy first years. Cause like, I don't know, maybe everyone doesn't like that, but I just feel like the first couple years are hard. Like the pay isn't fab when you don't have a clientele, and it's just, they gotta have the drive, and you gotta find a place that fits you.
Okay. How would you go about finding the place that fits you? Like, how would you find the
In
right
salons.
salon? Yeah.
And salons will take you in. They don't pay you, but you can go and you can hang out and you can answer their phone and you can chat with their stylist, and you can find a place where you feel like you fit in as a person. And everybody has something different, right? Like, and find a salon, like if you know right away that like, hey, you're really into doing whatever type of hair, like follow their social media, look and see what they're putting out there. Are they doing the type of work that you see yourself doing? Because then that's the kind of place you should be going, because you want to find people that do things you're interested in, so that if you're shadowing another stylist there when you're not busy, you feel like you're learning something that you care about, right?
Okay.
Like if you have no interest in doing like men's cuts, probably don't go into a place that does a ton of walk-in men, right? Because that's probably not going to be a good fit for you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you got to find, so I would say like in salons, lots of them, like I know when you go through school, they require you to do so many, but there's nothing saying that you couldn't go out on your own, and just see how welcoming they are. But that's like the best thing you can do is find a place that fits you.
Okay. Cool. What does it take to become a well-established, successful hairdresser?
Lots. Takes time. It takes time and a true love of what you do. If you go to work every day and you don't love it, your clients know that you don't love it. And basically, like, to be financially successful, you have to have a clientele. It's no
Okay.
fun to go to work and not care. Time and effort, and
Okay.
always educate yourself, and being able to grow and adapt to changes in trends and changes in other people's lives. And yeah, it takes a lot.
Okay. Um, how difficult is it to level up? In the industry, so you go from fresh out of school to like having a clientele to say owning a business. Like, is it like it? Because you said it was like for
Depends
you. Pardon?
depends how bad you want it.
Okay.
truthfully. Like you come out of school, like, so at our salon, for example, we work on like a 4-level system.
Okay.
So level 1 is like when you're fresh out of school and you're an apprentice. Um, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You're starting to grow your clientele a little bit. We really try to, like self promotion and like you as a stylist creating your own little kind of brand so that you can reach out to people and attract people that way. Level 2 would be when you complete your journeyman and your red seal. Level 3 is where you become a senior stylist, where you carry a 60 to 75% booking rate, meaning that in advance, if you were to look at like next week's schedule, 60 to 75% of it are already full. At that point, you get another. So like with each of those steps comes an increase in pay on a scale. And that means you get to charge more. So like at apprentice level, you charge X, then you charge the next level at your journeyman. Then when you get to a senior stylist, you get to charge more. That usually comes with at least like, that's usually 5 years behind the chair. That's and you consistently hold a booking rate. We will bump you to a level 3. Then you become a level 4, which we call master, which is you carry a 90% booking rate consistently. And then you get another increase in pay. And at that point, you can basically up your prices accordingly, kind of thing.
Okay.
After sold as a level 4, we at our salon do offer you the opportunity to rent a chair because it is the most financially beneficial as a hairdresser to quit giving like being on commission and only getting a portion of your earnings. But only select people would even get that opportunity where they would basically operate as their own little business, because not everybody can go out and like rent a building and furnish a building and pay the utilities. So we do offer that to select people that carry the master thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense? That
Yeah.
would be like the because now like a big thing that's down in the States and things is what they call suite rental. So it's like apartment buildings where you like just have a room and you just do hair out of like an individual suite, because the cost of getting an actual building and stuff is just too much. So that's kind of our way of doing that, is that you would rent a chair at that point.
Okay. I did not know that. I think that's actually a pretty smart way of doing things. I think
Yeah.
that's all of my questions. Do you
Okay.
have any questions?
No.
No.
Where are you gonna go?
Not MC, obviously. I'm
Huh?
I'm going to MC.
Oh, are you in
Um,
where? In where?